So I mentioned that I'm going to rebuild these Wilwood brakes. These are the first generation of Wilwood brakes for the WRX that came out in maybe 2003, using their super light 6 narrow caliper. So we're going to rebuild the calipers, and I also have the rotors pulled off, and I have new rotors. I have one of the calipers taken apart over here. And so this is the caliper itself. They're bolted together with 4 of these bolts. The bolts are in good shape, but they're quite corroded on the end, so I ordered new ones. They'll be here in a couple days, and we'll be able to do some reassembly. Once you have these apart, each of the piston chambers has a little seal ring in it, and so I'll remove those, and I have new replacement little seals to put in. The pistons themselves I pulled out, and they were in relatively good condition. I cleaned them a little bit because they had a little bit of just, material stuck to the very edge. But other than that, they appear to be in great shape, and I measured them, and they seem to be spot on. Again, not a tremendous amount of wear. And so we'll get these reinstalled in here once there are new seals in there. I'm going to take these, now that they're fully apart, and put them in a ultrasonic cleaner to remove all of the debris and stuff from them. I also removed these little metal pieces that go here that are little rails that the pads slide on, and those have been cleaned up. These calipers are the first generation of these narrows that actually have a tube that goes across the top. And so if you look there, you can see the brake fluid comes in there, and then it goes out little holes in the bottom to this chamber and to this chamber, and then there's a bleed screw down here, and then it goes also across this crossover tube into the other half, and then down through all 3 pistons, and then out the bleed screw here. And that's why you bleeding this side first, and then ending up with this bleed screw here. And so I pulled that off, and the crossover bar appears to be in relatively good condition. So we'll get this all cleaned up, put in new seals. I'm also going to replace the bleed valves. These are the old style that have a little pinch against the surface, and the new ones are just a thread in with an independent bleeder. So every time you bleed it, you aren't undoing those threads. And so I'll put those in. I mentioned I have new rotors, and the rotor hats are attached to the rotors, and they're attached using these bolts here, which have a thread lock compound on them, and they can be safety wired, although they weren't from the factory. And of course, a number of those broke off. The replacement ones from Wilwood are these stainless ones. And of course, stainless bolts in an aluminum piece is going to corrode due to the galvanic potential difference. And so you can help mitigate a little bit by using a compound on the threads, although it's still going to have contact and it's still going to eventually corrode. But I'm going to put the new ones in with a thread sealant on them that will try to maybe reduce that corrosion a little bit, and I will safety wire them so that they're sure not to come loose. On the actual hats themselves, this one had 2 of the bolts that broke off, and I was not able to extract it entirely. They're still inside the threads and quite damaging in there. So I'm either going to drill this out and retap it, or drill it out and helicoil it if there's enough material. If there isn't, then I can replace the hat. They still sell the hat, so I can get a new hat if I need to. But those are all the pieces to hopefully be able to rebuild these. So I'm going to get those in the cleaner and get the other caliper taken apart, and we'll see if we can get these rebuilt.